Somebody just hits it right and gets a business that fits them perfectly. I'm out.
You are purity. What you're not, though, is an investable business today.
And I see merit to what you have. It's almost like having a really fantastic cell phone without service. I feel like you have the premise of a really good idea, but I'm not sure about the business, so I'm out.
I'm sorry, but I'm out. You don't have what I need.
You are your business, and your business is you. Those are words nobody who ever wanted to sell their business want to hear. And the Sharks, they do it so well that it's like you feel for them on the screen. But imagine that was you. Imagine you get your big chance and you're showing up and you're getting able to present it. And you're so proud because you worked so hard and you have a profitable business and things are going along. And yeah, not everything's perfect, but you have something of value, right? And you show up and you present. And they act like this. It's brutal. It's brutal. I can so relate to this. I so can relate to this. I mean, let's face facts. You've spent a lot of time and money and energy and a lot of sweat and tears. You've gone without. Your family's gone without. You've missed events and special occasions. And after all that, right? You dedicated. And after all of that, the data says the one thing that you're not sellable. One thing that you are not a sellable business, at least not today, but tomorrow's coming. So by a show of hands, how many of you would love to be able to sell your business and not only sell it, but enjoy a multiple, profitable, and enjoy the fruits of your labor? How many? How many of you want to enjoy the fruits of that labor sooner rather than later? I think we can all agree that's the goal, right? Wasn't that why we started in the first place? Wasn't that why we wanted to invest in ourselves, our time, our money, our energy? We went without so that someday that business would pay us back. So during the rest of our time today, I'm going to prove that even though only one of 10 businesses actually sell, that your business can be the one that ends up selling if you simply learn and apply just 3 moves. And these 3 moves not only will make your business make sense to the buyer, but instead it's also going to make you dollars. For those of you who don't know, my name is Tracy Gunn, and I've been doing this for a few years. But what you maybe don't know is that I was just like you. I was that guy, not on Shark Tank, but in person. The broker, he sat me down and he said, there's nothing sellable here, Tracy. Just liquidate for pennies on the dollar. Just go. Shut it down. And I knew that there was something valuable here. I knew there was something here. And yet he told me, don't bother. Can you imagine how that felt? The pain, right? You feel for these guys on the screen. Imagine that's you. Well, you don't have to imagine that, because what you're going to learn here today is going to prevent that from ever happening to you. So my partner and I, Karen, have been working with clients for the last couple of years one-on-one to help them not only get themselves out of the business, improve the value, but also to find and identify their perfect buyer. So they could be one of the ones that sell. I want to help you. I want to help you to avoid the mistakes that I made and that many of us make. And I want to help you to turn your business into a sellable, valuable entity. Is that okay with you? I'm so glad you're here today. I know that this is not live, right? I don't want to surprise anybody. This is not live. But the reason that I'm recording it is because if you're anything like 99% of the small business owners out there, is that you don't have time. You do not have time to spend 2 hours on a Zoom at some time in the middle of your day. And because of that, I recorded this so you could watch this at your own time. So hopefully when you click through and you're watching this, it's a good time for you. And I promise you, it'll be worth your time today. So let's jump in. Now, before we dive into the 3 moves that are proven to make, yes, even your business valuable, I need you to understand that there's a lot of misconceptions out there about selling. Is it okay if I share those misconceptions with you? These are like truths about selling your business that are maybe in the way and maybe be the block that we need to just destroy in order for you to have a valuable, sellable business. Is that okay? Say it's okay. It's okay, Tracy. All right, awesome. So let's jump in. Misconception number 1. Misconception number 1 is you overvalue your business. Many owners believe their businesses are worth way more than they actually are. They may factor in the emotional value and underestimate the importance of the market. Like try selling Blockbuster today. Would that even fly? Try selling a newspaper, right? The thing is, we've invested. We built them. It's like when somebody attacks your kid. There's this part of you who knows your kid's not perfect, but the other part of you is like, hey, how dare you? This kid's perfect and has an amazing future. And how dare you, right? That it puts us on the defensive a little bit because we're so invested. And that's not a bad thing. And this is true for a few reasons. But one of them is most of us don't even know how to value our businesses. We don't know what the valuable pieces are because it's foreign to us. And so not knowing how to value your business and overvaluing it, right, based on your brand and your customer base. Maybe that's true, but maybe it's not. Okay. So you need to really think about how much of that is just your personal investment and beliefs and personal and balance that with what's facts. So that's misconception number 1. Misconception number 2, that this is fast and easy. Oh, I'll just decide to sell and it'll be done. I was a victim of this one, right? When I hit the wall, I was running 4 businesses at the time. I had a brand new grandbaby and I wanted to sell. And I was tired and I hired a broker and I thought, he'll just fix it. He'll be like my Superman. He'll fly in, list it, everybody will want it. And that didn't happen. It's a shame, but it doesn't happen very often. Okay. Unless you have a very special business in a very special sector, that's not going to happen for you. Okay. This is a process. Even when you bought your first house, it took time, right? If there's financing involved and due diligence and research and getting the contracts in order and figuring out the exit of the prior owner, handing it over to the new owner, that takes time. In fact, it could take months and even years. And sometimes owners get so frustrated with the process that they quit. So go into it knowing that this is going to take time and it's a process. But I guarantee you, especially with the 3 moves, that it's going to be worth it for you. So hang in there. Misconception number 3, that your business performance can dip during the sale. So let's just say you got a buyer. Yay, right? Somebody wants your business and they even maybe want it for the amount you want to sell it for, which is amazing. You know what happens though? We're so focused on the selling that sometimes things dip during the sale. We're so focused on the selling that we're not paying attention to the day-to-day. Okay. It's an opportunity for us to really see where there's a problem, but think about it. When you're running your business and growing your business, you got like your pedal to the metal. You are on that gas and that car is moving forward. But guess what? When you go to sell, you let off the gas a little because it's not yours. It's not going to be yours anymore. Does that make sense? So you have to keep in mind that the temptation is going to be to let your foot off the gas and that sales are going to dip if you do that. Now you can prevent that. But keep in mind, you want to keep that pedal down. You want to keep moving forward so that any buyer looking is going to see you at your peak performance and not your sluggard performance. I hope that makes sense. Misconception number 4. All buyers are the same, right? They're all the same. Nope, they're not actually. There's a misconception out there that all buyers will value the business the same. They'll all want it the same. But really, the truth is that different buyers have different reasons for buying your business. For example, somebody was collecting, let's just say, HVAC companies. They were just buying them and putting them all together, doing what we'd call a roll-up, because 20 companies together is worth way more than one. Okay? That investor is not going to care as much about your profitability because he's just adding you into his network. Okay? However, first-time buyers are going to be very concerned about your performance, very concerned about your profitability, very concerned about everything. They're going to need hand-holding in a way that somebody who's buying their second, third, and fourth one is never going to. So you see how they're different? Whether they're a competitor buying out, an investor, or a first-time owner, they're all going to have different motivations, and they're going to have a different valuation criteria. So keep that in mind. No buyer is the same. They're all different. Like snowflakes. Misconception number 5. Only profitability matters. While profitability is crucial, especially in valuing the business, buyers look at other things as well. Profit is not the only factor. They look at growth potential. They look at your customer list, your concentration, how active is your list. They look at the strength of your team. They look at the market position. They look at your general profitability. They also look at how often you raise prices. When was the last time you made an offer? They look at a lot of different things. But again, different buyers are going to look at different things. So these are things to keep in mind as you prepare to sell your business. But get that in your head. Profitability is not the only thing that matters. Misconception number 6. I don't need to prepare. It'll be easy peasy. I'll call the broker. He'll list it. It'll be fine. No. You know that stat we started with? The reason you probably clicked on the link to watch this webinar, to watch this talk, that 1 in 10 sell. 10%, maybe. Some owners believe they can sell their business just like it is. However, preparing it for sale, like cleaning up the financials, getting the basics in order, making sure all your standard operating procedures are in order, sprucing up the physical building, the premises, can really impact your value. Think of it a little bit different. Think of it like a house. So you've been living in a house, let's just say 10 years, okay? And you're ready to downsize, okay? And you want to sell it. Do you just throw it on the market for whatever they say? Or do you maybe take a little bit more strategic approach and think about, maybe I should give a fresh coat of paint. Maybe I should declutter. Maybe I should spend a little money on the landscaping. Maybe I should fix up my kitchen. Do you see how those things, and then what happens? You invest that time and money into the house. When you list it, you sell it for a lot more. It's the same is true in your business. So don't get caught by that misconception, okay? Misconception number 7. Post-sale involvement is not necessary. You know what? My business is great. I'll sell it. Nobody, I won't have to anything. I'll walk away, wipe my hands. I'll never have anything to do with it again. How many of you think that's true? Let's be honest. Most of us, 99% of us, probably 99.9% of us are actually in our business in some way, shape, or form. We're running our businesses. And if you've been running your business for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you've forgotten more than you ever could put down on paper. And the simple fact is when a buyer buys your business, they're going to need information from you. Now, you can prepare ahead and get all of that down for them. But the facts are, the more complicated, the longer you've been running this business, the more you're going to have to work to ensure that smooth transition, the handover process, so it doesn't fall apart, right? Very often, buyers will stipulate a certain percentage of time or period of time where they want to be able to access you, not because they don't know what they're doing, not because they just are scared, but because you are one of the assets. And they just want to make sure that if they have a problem, they can talk to you. So keep that in mind. When you sign on the dotted line, that will not be it for 99.9% of you. All right. Now, misconception number 8. Selling's the only option. Business owners think or might think that selling's the only way to get out of their business, right? Selling, it's kind of like winning. It's crossing the finish line at a marathon. But in reality, there are other options that maybe you haven't thought of, like merging, like passing it on to your children or a family member, or even seeking a financial partner. And that could look like somebody earning in. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say you had a restaurant and you're tired of running the restaurant. Restaurants are a really hard industry. I had 2. It's a really hard industry. But guess what? What if you couldn't find a buyer? So you decided to keep it because you already know it's running and you had somebody earn in. Maybe you found somebody at the local culinary institute who wants to have their own business, and you come to terms and you pay them to work, which you need employees anyway, they earn in. Do you see how that's a little different than selling? And then eventually the goal is for you to retain partial ownership, still get paid, and not have to do any of the work anymore. That could be way more profitable than selling. So selling is not the only option. And the sooner you open your mind to those possibilities about what and get creative, even more so will you guarantee you're one of the one that sells. Here's a question for you. Is your business valuable, do you think? I mean, I think most of us would say, sure, of course it is. I have a nice life. But just because something's valuable to us doesn't mean that the marketplace will value it. So let's define it. What is a valuable business? What is it? A valuable business is one that will consistently provide revenue and profit without the constant intervention of the owner. Without. Okay. The first thing potential buyers look at in any investment is that will it continue to generate returns even after the purchase? If I remove this owner, will this business still stand? Will it still be as profitable? Will it still continue to perform without the owner? That's what they're looking at, okay? A business that is overly dependent on the owner is a huge risk. And let's be honest, if the business is hugely dependent on the owner, it's more like a job than a business, okay? So according to Harvard Business Review, businesses that are less dependent on the owner are more attractive to buyers and command higher sale prices. So here's your money-making question. How do you get your business to be less dependent on you? Ask yourself, how do I get my business to be less dependent on me? It's a valuable question. It's probably one you don't think about. And I'll tell you right now, it just takes 3 moves. Just 3. Are you ready for them? Aren't you glad you're here already? Here we go.